Hi, it's Christy Everhart here. You can find me on Twitter at A Heart for Teaching, and I hope you will follow me on Twitter to get some good ideas if you like what you're hearing. And I also hope that you'll share some things that you would like to hear about, questions that you have within your classroom. And thank you for taking the time to listen today. So, today I actually wanted to talk to you about social media and education because that is a thing that as I connect with other educators, about half of us are on social media and we're really big with following others. And the other half of us are like, yeah, I have an account because I was forced to have an account, but I'm not really on it. So let's just have some real talk about Twitter and other social media. And I'm going to have my focus on Twitter because currently that is the one that I am very active on. I do have an Instagram account, but I have only learned about that in January, and so I'm not really big into that yet. So again, my focus on today's conversation will be about Twitter and getting connected with that, but this also applies for other social media platforms as well. And I have some names of other great educators who are on the other platforms if you're interested in knowing more. So I know that for myself as an educator, Twitter was the last thing on my mind because I'm always thinking about my kids. I'm thinking about what do I need to do. And to me, Twitter was just another social media platform that I thought that the whole point of it was to gain followers and like, ooh, look at what they're doing. And like, I thought it was another Facebook thing, honestly. Um, so I will say that when I first signed up for Twitter, which is probably about 6 years ago, um, I had no idea what I was doing. I was actually at an ed camp with the lady that I consider my mentor. She is a teacher in Del Valley. And she told me, hey, we're going to this ed camp. You're going to need to be connected on Twitter. And I was like, what the heck is Twitter? And like, why do I want to be connected? Um, I really didn't know anything, but I got told that, going through the little ed camp sessions, that was how we were going to take notes and connect with each other was through this thing called Twitter. So I went ahead and signed up for an account, and I was very, very confused. So first of all, I don't like, or I didn't like the short format because I consider myself a writer, and it's really hard for me to say things in an itty bitty space of like 140 characters or less. I struggled with that, and I was like, well, how can I communicate what I want? And again, I really didn't get it. But I sat through the sessions, and everybody's like, yeah, but hashtag EdTech or EdCamp or hashtag gamify the classroom or all these different hashtags, which again, I didn't know what it was. So I was kind of floundering through my day, not really understanding what this thing called Twitter was. But what I did figure out how to do was to at least search the hashtag that they were talking about. So I did search up my hashtag EdCamp, whatever year that was and whatever San Antonio it was. I did look at that and I was able to see other people's tweets for the first time. And what I realized, it was really cool to see that it wasn't just a, hey, look at what we're doing, but teachers were actually posting links to different web applications, different websites that they used with their instruction for the kids, different books that have like totally changed their teaching world. And I didn't know you could use Twitter as a source to like post different links of stuff. So that was kind of what I got out of Twitter that day. Now, let me be real again. Did I leave that ed camp like miraculously in love with Twitter? Was I suddenly like tweeting all the time? I will be for real with you. Absolutely not. In fact, I don't think I really got back on Twitter. Even after all the excitement of that day, I kind of just looked at my notes that I took on my own notebook. And I really didn't get back on Twitter until I had an administrator make us get on Twitter. And so I knew I had an account. I actually had to search up, forgot username, forgot password. I had the whole bit because that's how little I had been on Twitter. I really didn't even know my information at that point, which is where I see a lot of educators. I see a lot of us just have it because we have to, but we really don't use it and don't know what it's there for. Anyway, so I got it for that. And I would love to say that while he was the administrator at our school, that I magically fell in love with Twitter again, but I'll be super for real again. I didn't. Like again, I wasn't using this and nobody was showing me all the benefits of why I should be on Twitter. So it wasn't until that principal became our superintendent, and I'm giving all props out to Marcus Stretta because he is the superintendent of Lockhart ISD, and he has been a forerunner in bringing technology to our district. And he was the one who originally had all of his teachers get on Twitter. And since then, he's been advocating, hey, tweet out what you're doing. We know our district's doing great things. And so, as the years progressed, I wanted to be more a part of leadership in our district, and I love technology. So, I applied for a program called our VIP program, which gets our teachers connected with one to one devices for the students in our classroom. But with that, we're expected to talk about our good things and our failures and our journey and just trying to really broaden students' learning, whether it's using tech or it's not, because we focus on the learning first, the technology second. But I really wanted to be a part of this program. And a part of that they were looking at is like, hey, are you willing to talk about what you're doing? And one way that they know that we're talking about it is, what's our Twitter like? Are we actually on it? So I started to get more involved. And what I started to realize was I did have a list of some people that are really great speakers, like Matt Miller or like Todd Neslony or Caitlin Tucker, to name a few, Casey Bell, like all of the greats that you hear about. And I was looking at theirs and I decided to follow them. So it's as easy as, okay, I'm just going to follow a few people. And then when I look on my Twitter feed, I actually see some really cool stuff. Because here's the thing about Twitter, you have all these amazing, famous educators, and even not so famous educators, but we're all trying to teach kids. And there's some really cool stuff out there. And what's happening on Twitter with the educators who are a part of it is we are sharing out, hey, did you know you could do this? Did you know you could do this way? Have you tried this? Have you seen this new tech tool? We also post our podcasts and things like that, so you can really easily get connected. But a lot of what I love is just by following, and I was just following a few people, but they were posting great articles. They were posting how-to videos. They were posting all this stuff I didn't even know was out there on Twitter world. And it was like, I want to do this. I want to be a part of this. This is really cool. I like it. And I was actually able to connect with some other educators who have the same visions for their students that I do, and to see these different strategies that people at the time hadn't even tried out on my campus. We'd never heard of it. And this is all through being connected on Twitter. Another great reason that I love Twitter is you get connected so easily to the podcast. They send out, here's templates that you can use, and a lot of it is free, guys. Like, we're just sharing what we do because we're not in this job for the money. Like, you should know this already. You're an educator, but you're not in it for the money. You're in it for the kids and for the joy that it brings. Like, we get excited about our craft. And what you'll find on Twitter, especially, and on other social media sites, is you have really passionate, fired up teachers who are excited about what they're doing and they just want to share it with you. And yes, we share our successes. Those are amazing. But a lot of times we also share, you know what, this didn't work so great. Do you have other advice? And then by connecting with them, we can get connected to other people because you may see something that they tweeted or they reposted from somebody, and then you follow that educator. And then all of a sudden, you're a part of this huge network of teachers. And it's really, really amazing. I have gotten so connected to so many great educators just from participating in Twitter. And really, that's just been within the last year. I'd say that I've actually enjoyed it and have been seeking out advice on Twitter. It's been an amazing experience. Um, so I encourage you, find somebody at your school or within your teacher network who is on the social media thing with education, and ask them, who are you following? Where do you go? How could I find stuff about this? Because I know that as an educator, I felt out there and alone by myself with all my crazy ideas sometimes. But I'm learning through social media and Twitter, I am not alone. There are so many passionate educators who want the best for their kids as well. And it's really just an amazing world that I'm only at the very tip of the iceberg with. So I encourage you, get connected on Twitter, get connected on Instagram, whatever social media that you feel is right for you, and start connecting with other educators because you are not alone and it is an amazing universe out there. Again, This has been Christy Everhart with Lockhart Junior High, and you can follow me on Twitter at A Heart for Teaching.